Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. The main event here. I know I've been away for a while. I had went to Toronto for the regionals, then I had work stuff. It was kind of busy. Ain't what you're here for. You guys are here for the content, so that's what we can give you the content. Question of the day: what team would you bring to the next regional if you were going? Even if you've never been to one, give me some ideas that you think you would take with you, whether it is your goal is to like try to win the whole event or just to go out there and have fun with some Pokemon that you like. Let me know in the comments below, and let's get started with my team that I brought that I got top 256 with at the event. Yeah, I got points. First time I've gotten points at a live event. Cause last time I went to Charlotte, I don't think I played very well. Yeah, I played kind of horrible. I kind of was underprepared. It's funny because I was kind of underprepared for this tournament too, right? But I think I took pressure off myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself in the first event, and I changed my team in the last minute. This time, I just picked up a bunch of mons I knew I'd be comfortable with. Like I said, I didn't get a lot of practice in with the team, but I just knew I'd be comfortable with these mons. And like I knew when I was making this team, I was like, I definitely want Urshifu, I definitely want Tornadus and Chien-Pao, because those three, no matter what I play against, and also like Iron Hands, I could play through like just about anything, right? With that combination of four. Because Tornadus will give me speed control, Urshifu will give me damage, Chien-Pao also give me damage, and they both also give me priority. Iron Hands give me a lot of bulk, a lot of fake out support, all that good stuff, right? So I knew I could play around most things with those four Pokemon. And it came into play a lot. So yeah, those four came to play a lot. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a Moongus on the team, and I'm gonna have Arcanine. And I'll go over each mon, and I'll let you know, like, I guess what their role was in a sense. Like I said, I didn't practice too much, but in my head, I was always brainstorming stuff, right? I had stuff playing in my head, like I know I want to do this, I know I want to bring this, I know what I want this to do, I know what that to do. So I'm gonna start with the Urshifu, right? Because it was actually my favorite spread. It's a spread that I came up with myself, actually, this Urshifu spread. And it's really, really good. So as you can see, it's 92 HP, only 44 attack Jolly with Mystic Water. So yeah, it's a Jolly Ursh, with not a lot of attack investment. Then you probably think like, damn, did you do any damage? Yes, I did a lot of damage with this thing. The Mystic Water just makes your attack, your attack of the water type move so strong. It really does not matter at all that you don't have that much investment as long as you have the Mystic Water. And then like close combat's base power being 120 is like, it's so high, but it doesn't really matter either, right? And in most cases, the things that you're hitting with close combat are things that you just can't hit with surging strikes, and those things usually are getting 2-hit KO'd by close combat regardless, whether they're doing 51% or they're doing like 95%. So you're still 2-hit KOing stuff with close combat. So you don't really, it didn't come into play at all that I didn't have that much attack investment. My speed is 155 Jolly. So what the 155 speed does is a couple things. As you can see, the Chi-Yu is here, right? Chi-Yu is a modest set. It's max speed modest. And you see the speed stat is 152. A lot of things are not running their speed boosting nature right now. So with my Urshifu set that was speed 155, as you can see here, I would outspeed all the modest or adamant base 100 Pokemon easily, and I would even like outspeed stuff that was like a little bit faster by like a point or two. So I'd always outspeed those base 100s. And not to mention, if you look like Iron Bundle fast boost strategy, it gets to 309, and that Jolly Urshifu with that bunch of speed gets to 310 under Tailwind. So yeah, because it's 155, so it gets to 310 under Tailwind, which is like awesome, right? Because then I don't have to worry about getting outsped without Choice Scarf and then getting like freeze dried and just smoked. Even though I don't think freeze dry would have killed me anyway because I have a lot of special bulk. But yeah, that was the speed tier I wanted to hit. I would outspeed a lot of other Urshifus that were not Choice Scarfed. I would outspeed all the Rillabooms. I would outspeed all the base 100 that were not speed boosting. So yeah, I was faster than a lot of things even without Tailwind, but then Tailwind just made me like zoom past everything. Then I had let me bring back the Urshifu set. I had a bunch of bulk, the 180 Spadef and the 92 HP. So I'll show you what the primary calc for that was. So Fluttermane specs, right? Choice specs Fluttermane. If I click Terra Water, if you see here, nope, where's the Moonblast? There it goes. Moonblast 252 modest choice specs Fluttermane. So the strongest Fluttermane it could be without Terra. Moonblast into my Terra Water Ursh. I survived like almost all the time. I probably could have put a little bit more in special adventures to guarantee that, but it never came into play anyway, right? I just survived everything I need to. 6.3% chance to OHKO. And like, obviously, if they Terra, they're gonna blow me up out of the water. But like, even this, right? Terra, Choice Specs 252, Dazzling Gleam, this doesn't kill me. Like most Urshifu is just gonna go down to that, right? And this does not happen. Because I needed to have a lot of bulk because I wanted the Mystic Water damage and I wanted the speed, so I had to find a way around that, and that actually really helped a lot. It helped actually so much. Like, and then if you look at other stuff like let me see, Rillaboom. I got a Sylvester Rillaboom, for example. Did I have Grassy Glide? Yes, really. Grassy Glide and Grassy Terrain doesn't even come close to like KO me with this spread, which is a little bit of health, right? Like even with no health, I don't think it KOs, but even with a little bit of health, it doesn't. Even if I go like 252 Adamant, it still doesn't actually KO me at all, which is like really nice. And then I think I'm gonna Iron Hands. Let me see. Terragrass is so best, right? This is like a okay, so like this Iron Hands is like 252 Adamant. And it does have a big chance to KO me, but I have like Intimidate on the team, right? So it doesn't really matter. And I burned so many Iron Hands that weekend. I burned so many Iron Hands. Like I just kept Will-O-Wisping them because none of them are Terra Fire anymore. They just dropped Terra Fire, so I could Will-O-Wisp them all. And not to mention I also had the Abungus redirection, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Also, if you look at the damage, right? If I click Terra Water Surging Strikes with like Sword of Ruin on the field, look how much damage we're actually doing to the to that spread. We're doing upwards of almost like 88%, right? So if I give the Iron Hands max health, which I just did, then we're doing like 64 to 78%. You're probably thinking like, oh, that's a lot, but it's not that much, and it just wild charges you back. No, because here's the thing, right? So now I go to like Chien-Pao. So let's say we do a low roll, we get 64% damage. Go to Sash Set, but because that's the standard one, except let's go to Adamant here. So now we have we have Icicle Crash on top of it, right? And this is only if they're max health, right? Max health for defense. So now we combine that with Icicle Crash, which is doing 35%. So like 65 and 35 is, what's the answer, class? 100. So I think it was 64, but it's close enough, right? Because I'm never going to get both low rolls on both Pokemon. So I just always just KO the Iron Hands anyway. So it's actually kind of interesting. I could just blow them up that way. They just always drop. They just always drop to it, no matter what. So that was actually a really, really fun thing that I stumbled. I think I stumbled across that by accident, just doing the calc. Like, man, Iron Hands could be troublesome. So I was like, do I need to like get it to -1 all the time? But if I didn't have Arcanine for whatever reason, I did not need to get it to -1 all the time. I'm gonna bring back up the Urshifu real quick. But like -1 if they're 252 Adamant, Wild Charge will just do like 75% to me, or 74 because Pokemon always rounds down. So yeah, I comfortably live it at -1. So yeah, Urshifu was kind of the, I won't say the carry, but he was kind of the leader of the squad for sure. So Tornadus was kind of like the enabler of the team. The spread, the HP and the defense I stole from Luca. Tragoot, I think that's how you say his name. I apologize if that's not how you say it. I stole the HP and defense from a spread that he put out publicly. He did have less speed though. I had an anticipation that sometimes, like some people, I can't remember, it was 84 92, that people would just kind of just outright take his spread and just copy it bar for bar. So I was like, I'm just gonna speed creep it a little bit. He had a little bit more special attack for sure. But I didn't care about the damage I put on this thing, to be honest. I just needed it to like do stuff and hit Bleak Winds, just hit chip, like break sashes and stuff like that. As long as it did that, I was fine. So yeah, so in Terra like Poison. So I think this is enough to like survive like an extreme speed. And then the Terra Poison allows you to side like a Terra Fairy Moonblast, right? So you kind of just don't die to either one of those things, because those are the things that Tornadus is threatened by the most, right? Is Fluttermane and Dragonite. And the reason I say this is because like Iron Hands is slow and you can kind of just like you can kind of like intimidate it, but the Dragonite can't be intimidated, and Fluttermane is faster than like most Snarlers, right? So it's just gonna blow you up. But Iron Hands you can play around, but those two, they just kind of just wipe Tornadus off the map. So that's the spread that I use. I kind of, like I said, nothing too much into it. Bleak Wind, Storm, Taunt, Rain Dance, Tailwind. Those are the ones I went with because I didn't think I needed to protect them. I had Clover Cloak, I had defensive stats, I had defensive Terra, I have Redirection, I have Arcanine, so I had Fake Out. I think it was that big of a deal. So the Chien-Pao is funny because originally on this Chien-Pao, I did not have Sacred Sword. I had Crunch. And it's so weird because like I think there were some matches that could have did better in if I had crunch, but then there were matches that Sacred Sword kind of came in handy. Like it kind of like, for example, I was playing against the what's it called? I was playing against a Komodo, and having both Icicle Crash and Sacred Sword means if I just preserve my Chien Pao, I'll always have a way to beat that thing because Icicle Crash is super effective, and my Sacred Sword hits it for super effective with Terras. Even if like let's say I go for Icicle Crash and they Terra, I do a little bit of damage and they attack me. I have my Focus Sash, and then I just go ahead and Sacred Sword them after. And I'll KO them right through the +1 defense and all that you get from Kangaroo's Soul or whatever move it's called. If you don't Terra, Icicle Crash just wipes it off the map. So Adamant Chien Pao was awesome for that. Wasn't getting outsped by stuff. It was doing a lot of extra damage that people just were not prepared for. Especially Icicle Crash, like Fluttermanes or stuff like that was just dropping to it. It was getting like 50% damage on stuff that people were just not prepared for. I had like someone try to like Terra their armor in front of me into grass on like turn 1. I just blew it up with Icicle Crash in the same turn. It just like dropped stuff, which is why I prefer it over Jolly. I feel like Jolly misses some key KOs whereas Adamant does not. It gets all the KOs you want. And like I said, so like if I didn't need the speed control, Chien Pao or Urshifu was just like a really good lead. It was actually what ended up being a good lead too, was like Iron Hand Chien Pao. Like sort of ruin boosted wild charges and drain punches. There was this one time where I had Iron Hands and Chien Pao in the field. We were playing against a Dondozo. Sacred Sword killed the Dozo, and I clicked Wild Charge and Sacred Sword because I didn't think Sacred Sword was gonna kill for some reason, but like I knew the combination would. And for some reason I taunted them so they couldn't protect, right? So they just had to eat the hit. They couldn't get any health back. I had taunted them the turn prior. So I Sacred Sword did with the Chien Pao. The Dondozo drops. That's where Giri comes out and gets Wild Charge, and he gets no critical hit with the sword. It just Sword of Ruin on the field, blows it right up. That thing just drops in one shot. Like me and my opponent were like, holy smoke, what the hell just happened here? I do have a bit of attack investment in here. A lot of people try to go like 76 to get more in bulk. I was like, yeah, let's look at the damage now because Iron Hands is so bulky. And again, I have like the Intimidate, I have Redirection. That's kind of why these two ended up on the team, because I'm comfortable with them and they just offer so much and more support to these other ones. So the Iron Hands were just really supported. The damage was so much for people sometimes with 156. And then the 76 HP, 252 per def in the Assault Vest just means like nothing was killing me. I dumped the 20 into speed just so I could like outspeed all the non-invested Iron Hands. I didn't want to like put a bunch and be like Turbo Hands, because when it comes to Turbo Hands, it feels like there's always someone still faster than you, which is a bit weird. But at the bottom, where like people who are thinking like, I'm just not going to run any speed in my hands at all. You only need a little bit, so you still outspeed those hands, which is kind of nice. But a lot of people running attack boosting natures on their Pokemon and not speed boosting ones. This speed under Tailwind actually gets up to 146, and it outspeeds a lot of stuff, right? Like that's not that much slower than my Urshifu. Like if I was like an Adamant Urshifu, I'd get outsped in Tailwinds by this Iron Hand. Like that's kind of crazy, isn't it? And I came into play in a set because I was down like 3 Pokemon to 1, but the Pokemon that were on the field was a Burn Chien Pao, a Terra Normal Dragonite, and a Arcanine Hisui. So I Oko'd the Arcanine Hisui, I Oko'd the I had Tailwind up, so I Oko'd the Arcanine, Oko'd the the Dragonite, and then it was just the Burn Chien Pao versus it was like Ice Spinner Chien Pao at that. Not even crashed, it couldn't even flinch me to like try to hacks it out. And it just Oko'd that with a Drain Punch. It was kind of insane because I thought that game was like done for sure. I just thought that I was like, yeah, this is a loss. And then Iron Head just comes in on the tail and it just sweeps. It was kind of insane. So yeah, I really liked having the attack investment because I can't remember if the Arcanine came in after the Dragonite, because then that would have made it to where I was getting I was not picking with the Hail. So I think having the extra attack investment did help. Terra Fire was also here because I wanted to resist Ogerpon Fire. I wanted to resist Flutter. I wanted to resist Chiyu's Fire type moves. I wanted to resist Heatran. I wasn't that worried about having to deal with ground type moves because I had again Intimidate plus Amoonguss to redirect those ground type moves, and then like stuff like Landorus had to be careful playing around Intimidate plus Chien Pao plus Urshifu in Rain, right? So you kind of have to play around that stuff. So I wasn't that worried about the ground weakness staying there. Not to mention, there's not a single ground type move that I felt that I was going to have an issue with that would Oko the hands anyway. The only thing that can do that is like Guts boosted like Headlong Rush, and I can deal with that pretty easily. You know why? Because I'm a Amoonguss. So Amoonguss actually carried a few games for me for sure. Amoonguss had to be the most disrespected Pokemon at the tournament. People were just not prepared for it for some reason. Like they didn't have like either enough immunities, they didn't have goggles, they didn't have like Goldango, or Goldango was heavy in the tournament. I didn't play that many. But yeah, they just didn't have a lot of goggles mons. Some teams didn't have like a grass type at all, which was kind of insane, right? There were some Ogre-Pons, but people were just like letting me put stuff to sleep. People would have like Trick Room on their team. My Trick Room, I was just like, okay, you know, I'll just put Amoonguss in, and Amoonguss would just put everything to sleep because for some reason people were not zero speeding their Pokemon. People have fallen into the habit where they got their slow mons and they're going 31 and they're going like not minus speed. I just went with like zero speed Amoonguss, and I was like, oh, you know what? My first matchup against Side Spam, my Amoonguss was like slower than their Hatterene, so Sludge Bomb was able to 2-hit KO it. Ooh, that also I had Sludge Bomb tech. Sludge Bomb was the tech that I decided to run with on my own instead of Protect. This thing 2-hit KOs Ogre-Pon, 2-hit KOs Hatterene. I think it 2-hit KOs Sinistcha. Like it just 2-hit KOs everything it needs to. It's actually a really strong move for some reason because of the 90 base power. I think the 90 base power is really nice, and it causes like a lot of switches because people think they can just grass type you to death if you do have the Amoonguss or they do have it, but no, you have to watch out for Sludge Bomb. And Sludge Bomb also forces like Terra on grass types, so those grass types then can be put to sleep. So Amoonguss is actually really good in a lot of matchups. It's bulky enough to survive like Psychics. And if I Terra, it definitely survives everything. And then like with Intimidate, it survives the grass type moves as well. So this Amoonguss was just like so reliable for me in the tournament. There was another match where like I lost game 1 to Fake Out plus for Giraffe. So like what I ended up doing was just like I just led whatever I led turn 1. I switched out into Amoonguss, let them get Trick Room up, put everything to sleep, and game was over. And they couldn't do nothing for the next 2 games. Like they literally just had no Amoonguss answers. I don't know why they didn't identify that in round 1, in game 1 I mean, but it just worked. It just really worked. And let's go to Arcanine. Arcanine's the last one. So Arcanine, I really wanted to use Arcanine. The reason I use Arcanine is because I had a lot of success with Arcanine Hisui, but I think I wanted to be able to play around Ogre-Pon, Landorus, and Urshifu. And I think it was easier to do that for me with regular Arcanine than it would have been Hisui, because Hisui is 4 times weak to ground and water. And I did not want to deal with that. So I thought with this I could like give it a Pasho Berry. Pasho Berry is what has a damage super effective boost. And that actually is like really cool. I'm actually gonna see if I can pull that up on the nerd thing, right? On the calculator. Let me see if I have it saved. Arcanine. Fast goggles, turn normal, blank set. Okay, so let me actually plug this in over here because I actually want you to see some of the things that this Arcanine can do. Okay, there we go. So pretty fast, right? Because 130 speed is actually pretty fast in this format. It outspeeds a lot of stuff. Outspeeds all the Iron Hands. Oh, matter of fact, what did I think I outspeed something. Like was it this? It was something that I wanted to outspeed. Was it like, let me see if it was Rillaboom. I can't remember honestly. I'll go to Rillaboom with the Assault Vest. If I gave it 252. No, 252 is not, well, you know what? Most Rillaboom are not running 252. So like in the 130 speeds here, I'll outspeed a lot of stuff because they're not going max speed at all. I'll outspeed like the Rillabooms. See like this minus 188 Goldango here. I'll outspeed that for sure. So like I outspeed a lot of the things I wanted to outspeed. But the things I really wanted this Pokemon to do. So like let me bring up Ogre-Pon Wellspring, the water type. Ogre-Pon, Heart Flame, Wellspring. Offensive support, right? This is a pretty typical Ogre-Pon spread. 76 attack adamant, right? Oh, wait a minute. If I IV Cudgel -1 doing how much? 40% max to an Arcanine? Because I had so much physical bulk. I had the -1 and I had the Pasho Berry. Those things were not doing any damage to me. I was doing more to them with Flare Blitz than they were doing to me with Pasho Berry. With the IV Cudgel. And even if they're like Terra, it's still only 46 to 54. So like it does not do enough. And like let's say they're not -1, right? Let's get rid of the Intimidate. If I get rid of the Intimidate and they're not -1, 76 attack, Terra Water. still only does 81% through Posture Berry. I think the only thing I would have to worry about is like 252, but even that 252 through Posture Berry does 92% max. So it doesn't KO. And I can still get, then I can get Will-O-Wisp off, and then if I get Will-O-Wisp off into it, Arcanine does his job. And granted, I could then Wisp it, then I can switch it to a Moongus, take the next Ivy Cudgel, and I can just do stuff like that, and I can have the Arcanine for another Intimidate later if I need it. And then like look at the Urshifu. Urshifu Rapid Strike, Mystic Water. This is Jolly set. I'm gonna switch to Adamant because I can't remember if Adamant does it too. So yeah, look at that. 252 Adamant Mystic Water Searching Strikes versus this Arcanine, 84% damage. I think if they Terra Water, they smoke me though. You know what? I have an 81% chance to die. So still, that's pretty possible that I can live that. And if they were like Choice Scarf, because most of them were Choice Scarf, right? Not a lot of them were Mystic Water. So Terra Water Adamant, that's not a boosting item, 252 Adamant Terra Water, doesn't KO me either. It don't KO me either. It does not KO me neither. 80 to 95%. So like I could also then survive, Wisp the Urshifu I wanted to, switch it out into a Moongus, or I could just E-Speed. Like it's actually really insane how well this Arcanine really played. Some of the modes of the team, I'll just go over that quickly and then we'll get out of here. Is I could run so if I didn't know what to do in a matchup, Tornadus, Chien-Pao, Urshifu, and like a fourth that I felt was very compelling would get me through most games, right? Like okay, I'm not really sure what to do here, but I feel like I can just overrun them with a Pokemon. So like Iron Hands, Chien-Pao, Tornadus, Urshifu was great. Sometimes Tornadus Arcanine on lead was great because I could Tailwind and Wisp stuff, and it was really, really good. And then I could sometimes leave, like I said, the Chien-Pao in the hands, have the Tornadus in the back with Urshifu in the end. I could have the Amoonguss run. It was really good. And then other games where I just wanted more balance, it was Iron Hands, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Urshifu, or it'd be like Amoonguss, Hands, Chien-Pao, Urshifu. If I didn't need the speed control, those things came into really handy. So I think those are some of the molds on the team. If I do put a rental out those are some things you can try. Otherwise, if you have any questions about the team itself, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget the question of the day: what team would you bring to the next regional? If I was to play in the next regional event, I think I'd bring something like this, but I would upgrade it, right? So I think I might change Arcanine to Arcanine Hisui because Rock Slide is really good to have. And I think I might go with a Choice Scarf Urshi and then change to something else here, or maybe I would still go with this and just have the Rain Dance. I'm not sure, but I feel like I'm really feel comfortable with this team. Maybe I'd just make some changes to the sets, to the spreads, and bring it again. Or maybe I'd switch something out for a stronger grass type, even though I think Spore is really good. Maybe I'd add Goldengo somewhere. Actually, I am working on a team that I kind of want to see what I can do with that. It might have Goldengo, and it might actually have the other Urshifu on it. So we can see how that goes. Otherwise, then, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking by me. I'm sorry again I haven't uploaded it so long, but I try to get back to the regular uploads for you guys. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments below. Don't forget the question of the day: what team would you bring to the next regional? Thank you guys for being subscribed. Thank you guys for hitting a like on this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.